I always plan to make a little video on some of my prepping. I mostly do my CBs. I got old muscle cars. I've got all kinds of things I want to do videos on, but I'm not very good at making videos, so I never get around them. But I always said I'm going to make a prepping one, and I have so many little odds and ends. People forget about lanterns, and people forget about saws that you can carry with you to cut this. And I have a million ideas on prepping. I never get around to doing any of them. Tonight I've got to do. I've got to test my Delta 2 Max. It's a power station. I've got to charge. I'm going to keep my refrigerator going and my freezer going. So I do that every few months. So I got to do that tonight. I'll make a little bit of a prepping video. So if you want to see a prepping video, no CBs in this. Sorry guys, no walkie-talkies. So you might want to skip this one. I find it for my circumstances. Everybody's circumstances are different. How I run my house and what I need for the winter and what I need in the summer and what I need to eat and so forth all work for me. But this works great for me. It's been working good for me for years. And I'll show you what I do, and maybe you guys can get an idea. And like I say, if you're interested, watch it. If not, don't worry. But anyhow, I appreciate you watching if you do. Hi, YouTube. We're doing a video I've kind of done before, but I got to do it again. So I bought a new freezer. This is my new freezer. I bought it from Best Buy. It's Insignia, 14 cubic feet. It's extremely efficient. My old freezer was not half as big, but it was only 6 years old. But my old freezer was like 200 watts it used. This thing seems to be, at most I can see, about 143 watts. Very, very little on the watts. So what I do is, when I have to back it up, I have this thing here. It's an EcoFlow Delta 2 Max. It's pretty big. It holds 2,048 watts. Doesn't sound like much, but it's pretty good. It's enough to run my refrigerator and my freezer. Well, I guess we're going to find out tonight. My old one would run them like 14 hours. So far, this is telling me, it has a display on it, tells me how long it'll run for. It's been telling me like 16 or 17 hours. That would be awesome if it is. But let me tell you what's going on. So I got rid of my old freezer. One, it wasn't that efficient, and two, I needed the room. I like to, I'm kind of a prepper. So as a prepper, I like to keep a lot of food. My whole goal is, if the world ends, I don't think the world's going to end, but the grid could go down. And they say if the grid went down, the grid would be down for a year, well, 6 months to a year and a half. So I kind of prep for like a year. I figure by a year, they better get everything back to normal by a year. Do I ever think it's going to happen? Let's pray it never does. But just in case, so let me show you. In the new freezer, and what I do. And what I do actually is I love baked chicken, so I can go to the store and I can get these huge chicken breasts. Oh my God, they'll feed a whole family just one chicken breast. But I buy a chicken breast for each member of my family, and what I do is I get 75 chicken breasts. I take them home, I wash them all up, I take a nice sharp knife, I cut all the garbage off of them. I take a freezer bag and I put the date, where I bought them, in case there's a recall, where I bought them and the date I bought it. And then I put it in the bag and put it in my freezer. So I always have 75 chicken breasts per family member, 75 pork chops. Now pork chops, we have a BJ's Wholesale Club. Oh my God. They have the best meats around. Their meats are just delicious. I can't believe how good their meats are. We've been buying their meats for 30 years. And for 30 years, just great. Every time we have a cookout, people come over, wow, these burgers are good. Or my roast porks or my pot roast, whatever it is, it's always good. And I really like them. So they sell pork chops. Pork chops, they got to be 2 inches thick. They're huge, huge, huge pork chops. They have 8 in a package, so it's a great big package. 8 in a package for it's usually less than $15. So basically $2 a pork chop. $2 a pork chop is cheap. It's a delicious meal. I actually boil them. You can add in the comments if you want to know how I boil them. But I put them in a frying pan, and I fill the frying pan up with water about 3/4 of the way up to the pork chop, and then I keep turning the pork chops over every 10 minutes. I bake them for an hour. I can take a fork, and I can cut those pork chops with a fork. And after an hour in that boiling hot water, and frying pan's got to have a cover on it, so they basically steams them. So I have a meat thermometer, and I get 212 degrees because I'm boiling it. So I get 212 degrees. I can take a fork and I can cut them with a fork, and I just a little pepper and salt on them. Wow, that's a meal. But like my chicken, I have bags and bags and bags of rice as a prepper. So my chicken, I have chicken and rice and some vegetables. Beautiful. My pork chops, I buy 75 pork chops per family member. I buy 75 hamburgers per member. How can you go wrong? Then I buy 150 hot dogs. We like the hot dogs I have are delicious. I use these KM's Old Time Frank's beef and pork. Anyhow, absolutely most delicious pork chop I ever had. Hot dog I ever had. So I get 150 of those because I eat 2 at a whack. And then I have I have 75 boxes of spaghetti, 75 cans of spaghetti sauce. To go with my hot dogs, I have 75 cans of beans. So now, basically, and then I have roast porks and pot roast. I like pot roast a lot. So I cook pot roast in a slow cooker for like 6 hours. So I have a lot of pot roasts. My hamburger, I put them in a Tupperware, and what I do is I buy like 20 pounds of hamburger, come home and I put them, make patties out of them, and I make a nice big thick hamburger patty. I have these Tupperware pieces that I put them in the Tupperware, snap them all together, and I put, I don't know, sometimes it makes 70, sometimes it makes 80. I put them down here, and I like bread, you can probably tell. I like bread. Well, in the end of the world, I gotta have my hamburgers. I gotta have hamburger rolls and hot dog rolls. So what I do, is these are Rhodes rolls, dinner rolls. There's 36 little round balls in here. And these are the most delicious rolls you've ever had in your life. My God, people rave about them. Anytime I have somebody over, I say, hey, we're going to have fresh made bread. And wow, are these good. You let the air out of here and you can't open the door again. Once the air gets out, you can't open the door. What I do with those Rhodes rolls is I take a cupcake pan or a muffin pan, and a muffin pan has a place for 6 muffins. So I put 2 of those round dough balls in each muffin pan, where the muffin goes, and that way when they cook, and you got to let them rise for 6 hours, 5 to 6 hours, they rise way up high and they become this huge, beautiful roll. And then when they rise up enough, I put them in the oven for 20 minutes, and wow. Because I like my rolls so much, so I usually keep 10 bags. I can't open it. Once I open it, I'm going to leave it open, and I'll show you what I do. So those rolls make my hamburger rolls. They make my hot dog rolls. If I want buttered bread with my meal, I have buttered bread with my meal. Works out good. And as far as my canned goods, I try to keep 75 cans of corn, 75 cans of peas, 75 green beans, 75 peaches, 75 pineapple, pears. I have 75 cut half pears, 75 cans of beans, 75 spaghetti. So that's all the stuff I have. Those are the meals I eat every day. I'm not going to store food that I don't eat every day. I have the food I love, and every time I come down to the freezer and I grab, like I say, a big pork chop, big chicken breast, some hamburgers and hot dogs and pot roast, whatever it is. I love those. These are the meals I love. I have them, and I'm good for a year. And you probably say, wow, that's really expensive. It's a little bit expensive initially, but after you get them, after you have them, what I do is, say I use 10 hot dogs, 10 hamburgers this month. Well, I'll buy 10 hamburgers. If I use 10 chicken breasts this month, I'll buy 10 chicken breasts. If I use 10 pork chops, I'll buy 10 pork chops. So I just replace what I use. So it's just like you were going shopping and every week you buy whatever. I'm buying the same stuff, but I'm rotating it because everything's dated. So I always use the stuff that's oldest, and then I just replace it. Works out fantastic. But when the power goes out, you know, the grid goes down, I got to make sure my freezer and my refrigerator keep running. So I have this EcoFlow, and we're going to charge. We're going to keep them charging. So this is going to my refrigerator upstairs, and this is powering the freezer right here. And I'll see if I can get 24 hours out of it. I doubt it. I think I can get 12. If I get 12 to 14, I'll be pretty happy. And this unit charges up 1 hour. Well, an hour and 10 minutes. I can charge. I have a tractor. Actually, I have a Generac whole house generator, and I have a 1,000-gallon tank, propane tank buried in the yard. So, and I have all the oil. If you have a generator, you've got to keep spare oil. Well, I got enough to change the oil once a month for the next 10 years. But you got to have spare oil, spare spark plugs, oil filters, air filters, all the parts that could go wrong. You got to keep them for the. I have a Generac whole 11,000 watt whole house generator. That generator, I start it up and it warms my whole house up about 2 hours. Massachusetts, I don't worry about air conditioning. It's nice and perfect here in the summer. Been hot lately, but it's usually nice and perfect here. So in the summer, I don't worry about air conditioner. If the power goes down, I could care less about the air conditioner. I open the windows and sleep like a baby. But the winter, I have to have heat in the winter time. So in the winter time, I run that Generac for like 2 hours in the morning. That runs my well pump. It runs my heating system, and my water heater. My water heater is oil fired. Uses very little electricity. It's mostly just oil. And now the whole family can have a nice hot shower after an hour. So that hour I'm using my well pump and the water heater to make hot water, and I'm also heating the house. I heat the house up to about 75. It's roasting. It's absolutely roasting in the house. But then I can shut the generator off. I might make breakfast. I might use the stove. I might use the microwave. Whatever. I'll use all these little things. And then I'll shut my generator off. And the rest of the day, the house is warm. Everybody's had their shower. I've got plenty of water. Everything's good. But my freezer and my refrigerator, those I have to worry about. So that's why this EcoFlow comes in, for keeping them going for a while. Now I know what you're saying. If I run out of propane for my Generac, if I run out of propane for my Generac whole house generator, I have oil. I heat my house with number 2 fuel oil. Right? Number 2 fuel oil is diesel. Diesel and number 2 fuel are exact same stuff. So basically, I have diesel fuel that I'm heating my house with. So I have a tap off of that, so I can drain it off into a 5-gallon pail in an emergency, and I can put it in my tractor. My tractor has I have 2 big tractors for the farm here. My tractor, I have a PTO generator. That PTO generator, it only costs $2,700. I thought that was cheap, and there's no moving parts, there's no motor to break down, there's no engine to service, there's no oil to change or add, and all I got to do is hook it up to the PTO on the tractor, and it'll make 15,000 watts. That's enough power for 2 houses. And around here, it's all cranberry bogs. And they have to irrigate the bogs every night, so they pump reservoir, and they pump all the water into the cranberry bog, so they have this huge pump, and they just use the PTO to run the pump. They run it for like 12 to 18 hours, And those Kubota tractors, oh my God, those Kubota tractors are beautiful. Just runs and runs and runs and runs, and no problems whatsoever. And it just sits there and purrs away for 12 to 18 hours. Well, I've got the tractor, so now I have the PTO generator, and now I can make electricity for my house, but I have to worry about running out of diesel. And that's the only problem I got to worry about, running out of diesel. Well, let me show you. I came up with a solution for that. Okay, these are my oil tanks, oil/diesel tanks. This is tank number 1, tank number 2, tank number 3. Each tank holds 300 capacity. Let's see. Anyhow, each tank holds 330 gallons. So 3 times 330 is 990 gallons, and I always keep some more. I have some more tanks out in the barn. So I have 1,000 gallons of heating fuel / diesel for my tractor. So I can run that PTO generator, I don't know, 18 months? If I use it for 2 or 3 hours a day, it doesn't use much. It only uses a gallon here and there. So I have a lot. But of course, my heater, this is my heating system, oil-fired heating system. And that's my oil-fired water heater. I'm a plumber. I put these in big apartment buildings for four families. And 4 families, they never run out of hot water. This will make hot water, scalding hot water in 20 minutes. It's incredible. This is glass lined, so it stays warm for about 25, 26 hours. So again, 20 minutes, I can have a scalding hot shower if I want. That thing is fantastic. My furnace, like I say, in the wintertime, I have to use it. If I don't have any electricity, I'll use it a couple hours a day. I buy, because of these big tanks, because of my big tanks, I buy my oil once per year. I get it every July when it's $2 a gallon. And every year what happens is I buy it for $2 a gallon. I have 1,000 gallons of oil here. If I buy it for $2 a gallon, well, what happens is in January they go to $5 a gallon. February it's $5 a gallon. March it's $5 a gallon. But me, I can go 18 months before I need oil. I fill it up every summer just the same. But I probably use 500 to 600 gallons a year. 500 to 600 gallons a year. Not much. So if I use 500 to 600 gallons, that gives me 500 to 600 gallons to run my tractor. And because I buy it for $2 a gallon, I save like $3,000 a year. So if I'm saving $3,000 a year, these cost $9,800 to have all 3 tanks put in. So if for $10,000 in 4 years they've paid for themselves, and if the world ever goes bad, I have 18 months worth of diesel fuel for my tractor and heating oil to heat my house. So I've done fantastic on that. All right, let me show you what I do on my prepping with my freezer. All right, so what I do, these, see, I label the bag, BJ's Pork Chops. I bought these on May the 2nd of 2025. Look at that. That's like, look at that, 2 inches thick. 2-inch thick. And I usually cook 4 at a time, so I put them in bags of 4. These are my chicken. Look at the size of this chicken breast. Like I say, you can feed the whole family. I put like 3 or 4 in a bag. I bought these 5/30 of 2025. These I bought 5/21. These are my KM Old Time hot dogs. I take them, when I buy them, I wash them, and I put them, 3 hot dogs in a thing. I eat 2 of them. My dog eats 1. And don't tell anybody. I don't think he's supposed to have hot dogs. But anyhow, he eats 1. I eat 2. And so that way, if the family's here or whatever, I can bring up a couple. I have all those. I have 10 packages of rolls, so that's a year's worth of rolls. And these are my butters. I label all my butter. This is what I like. I like this Land O'Lakes lightly salted whipped butter. Delicious. I usually try to keep 10 or 15 of these. and that works out great. And I got my pancake mix in here just so it doesn't go old. I buy big boxes and bags of pancake mix, so in an emergency I can just have pancakes every morning. I always have butter. Syrup doesn't go bad. I can leave syrup on the shelf, and I got tons of pancakes. So it's all cheap and it's all easy to prep this stuff as long as you can keep the freezer going. I've had the freezer die on me, and man, when that freezer dies and you got a couple of $1,000s worth of food in there, it's downright ugly. So I've got an alarm on that. I'll show you the alarm too. These are my hamburgers. As I said, I keep 75 hamburgers. So I have all these Tupperware containers. I keep 100. I keep 100 of these. So what I do is I make my hamburger patty. This is pretty thick. I don't know what that is. I guess about 3/4 of an inch. 3/4 of an inch. So I have a hamburger patty maker. I make the hamburger, drop it in there. I have lids for them, so I put the lids on them. And when I get 75 to whatever, 80, 90, I like hamburgers. I have hamburgers every time it's a nice day out. I cook them on the grill, or I'll cook them on the George Foreman grill. But I like to keep 1, 2, 3, 4. So I make them in batches of 4, and I'll cook 4 at a whack. But anyhow, I keep 75 hamburgers per person. And with these Tupperware, hamburger patty keepers work fantastic. So those are my hamburger patties. This is one of my shelves. I have about 10 shelves, but there's my beans. I try to keep 75 cans. There's my spaghetti. I try to keep 75 spaghettis, and there's my Dole pineapple and my chicken things and my pears and my peaches and my peanut butter. I love peanut butter, and seeing how I got loaves and loaves of bread in that freezer, I always have peanut butter sandwiches. Everything is dated. Extremely important to date everything. So, like I say, if I use 5 spaghettis this month, I'm going to buy 5 spaghettis. So that's what I do. If that helps somebody, great. But that's how I've been prepping. I have that's my Generac. That's my Generac panel. That's an automatic transfer switch. Power goes out, and boom, that just sends. You can see those big wires up top. That sends 200 amps to my main panel, so it feeds the whole house. So my Generac feeds the whole house. But then I got my tractor, and I have a manual one with 16 circuits. So I got my freezer, microwave, garage lights, garage doors, my well pump, my freezer, my refrigerator, my microwave, anyhow, everything that I need. Everything I need is here. So if I need to run the tractor, I also have a 10,000 watt Craftsman gasoline generator. I haven't used that in 10 years. But I do have that as a backup because, you need everything. You never know what's going to happen. When Corona broke out, everybody needed toilet paper. What do I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I got 5 things of toilet paper from BJ's there. I didn't need any during Corona. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I don't know. I must have 20 things of toilet paper. And paper towels, as far as you can see. So, if the end of the world comes, I am not going without toilet paper. So these are the little things that I think are important that I want to prep for. I also, just to let you know, these are toothpaste. I keep 100 tubes of toothpaste. I keep 100 tubes of toothpaste. I keep 100 sticks of deodorant. I probably keep 100 toothbrushes. Just going over some more prepping stuff. So, of course, I keep a whole bunch of toothpaste up in the bathrooms. Very important. Vitamin C. When the end of the world comes, you won't be able to buy any oranges. So if you don't want to get scurvy, get some vitamin C. Like I say, I keep I keep tons of shampoo, tons of deodorant. These are Irish Spring. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I probably keep 20. I probably keep 20 to 25 soap. There's 20 bars of soap in each package. So 20, 25s, whatever that comes to. It's got to be over 100 bars of soap. Q-tips, I use Q-tips, razor, shaving cream, you name it. Whatever we're going to need. If things get bad, I have them. But just little things people forget. You certainly don't want to not be able to shower with a bar of soap in the end of times. I got a lot of applesauce, soaps, and coffee, whatever you could think of. But don't forget, I must have 100. I must have 200 things of toilet paper and paper towels and laundry detergent, because I can do laundry with this generator. I can run the dryer with this generator. I also have a ton of paper plates. In an emergency, I like crackers and cheese, crackers and peanut butter too. So I always keep 4 or 5 boxes of crackers to go with my peanut butter. But anyhow, these paper plates. I like the paper plates because, when the power's out, I'm not doing dishes. And if you're wondering about my well pump runs my sprinkler. My well pump can produce, my well pump is what they call a 10 gallon per minute well pump. So that's what it runs. It runs 10 gallons per minute. My sprinkler system takes all of that. So I run like 8 to 9 to 10 gallons per minute when my sprinklers run. I run my sprinklers, honest to God, for an hour and a half every morning. So if you figure 90 minutes times 60, if it's 10 gallons per minute times 90, that's 600 gallons? I don't know, 900 gallons, something like that. It's a ridiculous amount of water. I've been doing that for 30 years. All the neighbors and everybody, we have lakes and ponds and rivers all around us, and everybody's like, you will never run your well out of water. We have so much water around here. So if something ever goes down, as a prepper, I'm not running my irrigation anymore. I don't care about beautiful lawns at that point, but I do have big fields that I need to keep going so I can plant things in them if I had to. But when the end comes, I'm not going to run my irrigation. When my well pump is running, 10 gallons per minute times 90 minutes is 900 gallons. So I can get 900 gallons a day. So I don't ever worry about my well running out of water. And when the end comes, and it's the most delicious drinking water you've ever tasted in your life. People come over and I give them a drink of water, and wow, is that delicious? And it is. It's the most delicious water ever. So I've got plenty of food, plenty of water, plenty of heating oil. I think I've got everything pretty well covered. All right, this is the front of the EcoFlow. So it shows me right now I'm using 60 watts. When this freezer kicks on, it uses about 143. And my refrigerator uses about 140 to 160 upstairs. So both of them are pretty good, but once I shut the lid and I don't keep opening it, it stays cold for a long time. Right now we're at 80%. I started this test at 6 o'clock. It's now almost 9 o'clock, so I've been running it for 3 hours. And for 3 hours, we went from 100% to 80%. This is telling me that I can run it almost 21 hours. It says it's flashing between 20 and 21. So I can run it right now at 80%. Hopefully, if things don't change. And of course, the refrigerator and the freezer is going to turn. They're going to cycle. They're going to get cold and then shut off and get cold. Then they're going to warm up and get cold again. But right now, I can get like 21 hours out of this Delta 2 Max from EcoFlow. So if I only have to start my generator up once a day, like I say, I can charge this in about an hour and 10 minutes. I can take this from from 0 to 100% charged, and it's fantastic. If I can just run the generator once a day to keep the EcoFlow going, wow, I'll be able to live for a long time. Now, these EcoFlows, if you get them, you have to you can't leave them turned on because the battery will die very quickly. If the battery dies, they turn it in, and you just leave it like that for a while, it turns to junk. If you don't test them once every couple of months, so you have to cycle them. So you go from, say, you should keep them at 70 or 80% capacity. 70 to 80. Oh, now something turned on. Maybe my freezer, because I had the freezer open, showing you my food. So something's drawing 152 watts. Could be the freezer, could be my refrigerator. They're both plugged in. But right now we're looking at 10 hours, and I've already had 3. So that would be like 13 hours, which I'd be very happy with 13 hours. All right, getting back to, you have to, every 2 months, you have to store these. They don't want you to store them at 100% because that hurts the battery. If you leave it at 100% all the time, the battery kind of learns 100% and it hurts the capacity. So you want to store them at 70 or 80%. So what I do is once every 2 months, and then if you don't use it, if you let a whole year go by without using it, you may as well throw this in the trash. It'll be absolutely junk. You have to come down every 2 to 3 months, and you have to use them. And that's what I'm doing. I'm running the freezer and the refrigerator, and I'm going to run them right down to 0. And when they get to 0, I'm going to charge them back up to 70 or 80%. And then in 3 months, I'll do it again. So I have this piece of cardboard on the top, and it tells me when I did my test last. That way I don't go more than 2 or 3 months without cycling these on and off. So that's that. Let me show you. So that should cycle my EcoFlow Delta 2 Max every 3 months, and this is working pretty good. And it's a good test. Living in where I live, I lose my power for 5 to 7 days at a whack. 7 days without power is asking a lot, and when I lose my power, we have trees down on my street. I'm out in the middle of the woods, and there's only one road in, and that road gets covered in down trees and power lines. There's no way you're going to get down that road. So when it goes down, you're trapped in this house for at least 5 to 7 days is general average every time we get a snowstorm, which in New England we get a lot of snowstorms. So these generators I have and these freezer is working out pretty good for me. All right, so now that cord goes from my EcoFlow downstairs. That's called an EcoFlow Delta 2 Max. It holds 2,048 watts. 2,048 watts. Works fantastic for me so far. I'm thinking about getting a bigger one. Anyhow, I take the cord and I plug the cord in the back of my refrigerator. And there's the refrigerator. So that's good to go. Now, because I have a year's worth of food in my freezer downstairs, I just bought this thing. It's called a Mocrea. M-O-C-R-E-A. Mocrea? I don't know. And it has these sensors. And you put the sensor in your refrigerator, and you put the sensor in the freezer. It's supposed to go for 1,000 feet away. And now anytime I look at it, so my freezer downstairs, it is minus 3.8 degrees. And my refrigerator, that's not the refrigerator, it's the freezer part of my refrigerator. The freezer part of my refrigerator is 3.5 degrees. Now, I've got this set. You can set it to have an alarm. If it goes over that temperature, I have them set for 20. So if it goes over 20 degrees, this little thing starts beeping like crazy. And it also connects to my phone. And believe me, I found out in the middle of the night. It starts beeping like crazy. It sends messages to my phone. My phone starts beeping. And I'm not losing all that food in the refrigerator. This little Mocrea hub. What is it, an H5? I think it's an H5. H5 Pro hub is what it is. And it works fantastic. Yeah, I had to put a whole bunch of new chicken and stuff in the freezer, and all that new food made the temperature go up to 20 degrees. And as soon as it got to 20 degrees, the alarm started ringing. And all I had to do was wait another 20 minutes or so, and the temperature started going down, and it got back to the. Oh, now you saw me have the freezer open. We were at 3.5. We are now at 0.5. So we were -3. Now we're at 0.5. So I let some heat out of that freezer. Excuse me. I let some cold air out of that freezer. So again, we started this test at 6 o'clock. It's now 6:30. And I'll see how long they last and I'll let you know. This is my PTO generator. Comes with a shaft. It's a Winco. You put it to your trailer hitch or whatever. Or you put it to the back of the tractor. Has a little place to hook up attachments. So you hook it up to the attachment, and it's on wheels, so I can roll it around. Then I just plug it in. I have a transfer switch on the house, so I just plug it in. This one's, like I say, it's 15,000 watts. It charges my EcoFlow Delta 2 Max in about an hour and 10 minutes. So as long as I run this for an hour a day, I can charge my EcoFlow, and that EcoFlow runs right now. Right now, it's telling us 22 hours. I don't think we're going to get 22 hours. Once the refrigerator or the freezer kick on, it'll cut it in half. So I'll probably get, 12 to 15 hours. But hey, 12 to 15 hours, then I got my tractor, I hooked this thing up, started up, and I got plenty of diesel. So if the end of the world comes, I can run my EcoFlows and heat the house. I don't worry. This is Massachusetts. We don't need air conditioner out here. It's generally pretty cool. Been hot lately, but generally it's very nice and comfortable in Massachusetts. I don't need air conditioner, but I sure need heat in the wintertime. So with my two big Kubota tractors and this thing and a Generac whole house generator, I think I'm good. If the end of the world comes, I think I can survive for about 18 months. Let's hope we never have to find out. That's my Generac. It's an 11,000 watt. 11,000 watt. It has a little green light. If the green light is on, then I know everything's all set. When it needs an oil change, it turns yellow. It'll still work. Everything will work fine, but it'll just be yellow to remind me of an oil change. This is propane. That propane's unbelievable. I change the oil every year, sometimes more. But I change that oil. I take the oil out. Because it's propane, it doesn't even get dirty. There's not a speck of dirt or dust. It looks just like brand new oil. It's unbelievable. Absolutely brand new oil. So the propane runs it. The spark plugs, I change the spark plugs, the fuel filter, the air filter, the oil filter. Everything looks brand spanking new every time, because with propane, nothing gets dirty with propane. So this is the way to go. But I'm always worried I'm going to run out of propane, and it's not like I can run down the street with a 5-gallon bucket and get propane. Whereas the oil, the diesel for my diesel tractor, hopefully I can go and get more. Or every house in my town, we don't have natural gas in my town. So every house has a 300-gallon tank in the basement of number 2 fuel oil, which is diesel. So I can always pump, 50 gallons out of somebody's house that doesn't have a generator, that's not using it. So I can barter some food or whatever. So I can always get more diesel even 2 or 3 years down the road if I had to. But propane's tough to get. Just thought I'd show you my EMP shield. That's my EMP shield. It's got 2 lights on, so I know it's working. That's my panel. That's the Generac panel. That's the transfer. That's my EMP. It's supposed to protect the whole house. I have one on my pickup. I have one on my plumbing truck. I have one on my muscle car. I have one on each of my tractors, and I have one on my generator. So everything supposedly, according to EMP, you never know until it happens. But according to EMP, everything is protected. If something goes down, let's hope it really is. Okay, it's the next morning. It's 7:14 in the morning. Now, 7:14 in the morning. My senses. My freezer is minus 4.5, and the freezer in my refrigerator is 9.1. That's kind of up. It was much lower. It was at 3 degrees for quite a while, but it's going up for some reason. Anyhow, those are my temperatures. And then my EcoFlow. EcoFlow has the best app ever. According to this, we're using 168 watts right now. We've got 9 minutes left. So I'm going to go shut the EcoFlow off and plug the freezer and the refrigerator back in. But that gives us a full 13 hours. Now, I got to tell you, that 13 hours, it was running the whole time, and I'll tell you why on my exit video. But this was very uncommon for me, and I'll tell you why in a little bit. But anyhow, I'm happy with 13 hours. All right, so the test is over. We got 13 hours. I thought I'd get about 17 or 18 the way it was looking. This thing is EcoFlow Delta 2 Max. Fantastic machine. It ran my freezer and my refrigerator for 13 hours. Now, I hadn't planned on showing stuff in my freezer. It just kind of worked out that way. I started talking about my prepping, and all of a sudden I started showing you stuff. I didn't actually show you inside my freezer because I didn't want you to see my cookie dough and my frozen cakes and whatnot. I like to eat. I keep my freezer full of junk. Anyhow, so I wound up showing you my chicken and pork chops and roast porks and pot roast and all this stuff. And I took everything out of the freezer. Well, I kept taking things out of the freezer and opening them and putting them back. And then when I was opening them, I said, well, I gotta rotate some of it. So I started pushing things down and moving things around. And then I went upstairs and I put stuff in my refrigerator, in the freezer. And I put the oldest stuff in here. I always take up, put it in my refrigerator. And that's kind of how I rotate it. The old stuff goes up into the up into my refrigerator, and I use it out of the refrigerator. So I was doing all that, and I got the freezer pretty cold. I warmed up. I let a lot of the cold air out of it, and the same with the refrigerator upstairs. I let a lot of cold air out of the freezer upstairs. No big deal. Couple of hours, it'll be right back to normal. So I wasn't too concerned. Well, I'm working on the videos. It takes me forever to do these videos. So I'm on the computer and I'm working. I'm trying to splice all these little pieces together. I had a big glass of orange juice. Well, I forgot to drink it. No big deal. So I said, well, I'll just get a cup of ice. So I got a great big cup of ice, and then I kept pouring the orange juice into that to cool it down, and I kept drinking the orange juice. Well, I'm working on the making this video, and I heard the my automatic ice maker drop a whole bunch of ice into the tray, and then I heard the water come on, and it put water. Well, now it's got to freeze the water. So I noticed this thing ramped up, and it ramped up to 135. That was, say, 9:30 last night, 10 o'clock, maybe 10 o'clock. It ramped up. It stayed at 135 all night long because it was it was cool in the freezer and it was cool in the refrigerator, but it was making those darned ice cubes. I had no idea. I've done this test, I don't know, 4 or 5 times. Like I say, every 3 months. Every 3 months I make sure I run this thing through a cycle. I always run it through a cycle to keep it working, and that way I know it'll do my freezer and my refrigerator for X amount of hours. But I never got ice out of my ice maker. So now I've learned, if I get ice out of the ice maker, water's going to go in and it's going to have to freeze the water, and it takes, I don't know, 7 or 8 hours. So that refrigerator was running at 135 watts. I couldn't even sleep last night. I showed you that app on my phone, and it shows me how many watts the EcoFlow is using, and it'll show me how long before the EcoFlow runs out of power. Well, I checked it at like midnight, I checked it at 2 o'clock, I checked it at 4 o'clock, because that's all I need is for this thing to stop at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I lose all that food. But it went all the way from 6 o'clock last night till 7 o'clock this morning. I love this thing. So if I hadn't made the ice, if I hadn't got the ice cubes out of it, I think I could have got 17 hours out of it. At any rate, 13's fine. And 13, that's a real world test, because like I say, I was reorganizing my freezer. I was reorganizing the freezer. I was reorganizing my refrigerator. I was getting ice out of it. I was, when I'm doing the videos, I hate doing those videos. I get all worked up, so I keep getting snacks. I keep getting snacks out of the refrigerator, so I kept opening and closing the door. So for 13 hours, it did really good. So if you're a prepper and you want to try to keep your refrigerator and freezer going, I really like this Delta 2 Max, EcoFlow Delta 2 Max. Thanks for watching. I hope you learned something. Hope I didn't bore you to death. We'll see you in the next video.